So it's pretty funny. I was doing some research into arbutin, and instead I came up with some stuff for like NAC and N-acetyl glucosamine. So I found some really interesting stuff, so I thought I would share it. It really just got my head thinking about all the things that can be done with N-acetyl glucosamine. So I thought I would share because it is rather cheap. So that's what I was like so excited about. For the sake of this video, we're just gonna call it NAG. NAG. You'll actually see it like when you're doing research on it, abbreviated as NAG as well. So with this, like you can get it like 100 grams for like $15. So that's like amazing. They do have some serums, some creams. Obviously those are going to be priced like around $20. Most people I think take it in pill form or take it in powder form, but to be completely honest, most of the research I did is for topicals, so I'm not going to be referring to it as taking it internally. All of the studies that I've seen were using it topically as well, so just keep that in mind. We're talking about using it topically on our skin and not internally. It is a type of sugar, and so for people who have issues with like keeping their blood sugars down, you would not want to take this. It can affect you. I think I saw something about does glucosamine make you gain weight or something like that. There are several types of glucosamine, so we're talking specifically about the N-acetyl glucosamine, which makes it's much more stable than just a regular glucosamine. But there's also like a glucosamine sulfate, and there's another one that starts with a C. I can't think of the word right now, but there's a few others, so I'm not sure which one they were referring to in that, but we're just talking about using it topically, not talking about taking another pill. And for like 100 grams for $15, it is pretty good. How to use it, I haven't got that far yet. In my mind, I would think maybe have an oil, warm up the oil, dissolve it in the oil, or maybe just, because like you wouldn't want the grittiness in like a lotion, so I would have to figure out how to have it melted down and added to the product, because I would like to do it the cheapest way and I would like to do it myself. But let me tell you a little bit of why I'm thinking about all of this and what I found basically in my research. So one of the studies was using 2% of N-acetyl glucosamine, and they were also using NAC, and they did that for 8 weeks, and basically it just significantly reduced dark skin patches and tans on the skin. So not just hyperpigmentation, because most of these studies have to do with hyperpigmentation, even when we're not talking about NAG, but yeah, it will fade tans as well. So in this study, they did both 2% of N-acetyl glucosamine and NAC, the niacinamide, but they also did it with just the glucosamine. If you're just using the N-acetyl glucosamine, it will still work on your skin, but it's even more effective if you add in the NAC. So that's another thing that you'll have to look into, because using them both, like, it basically just accentuates your results, but you can use it and have awesome results without the NAC, so keep that in mind. The NAG is an amino sugar, and it basically exfoliates just like an alpha or beta hydroxyl acid, so basically an AHA or a BHA. The great thing about it is that it isn't as irritating to your skin, and so that's why it's obviously more exciting to use, because a lot of this stuff, like, it will make your skin a little itchy or a little red, or you'll have to like kind of watch it with your topicals. And so this one, it's easier on your skin, but also you're going to get results. I saw one study, it was like in 2006, and it was like an American Academy of Dermatology using the topical glucosamine, and basically they put some on one side of women's faces. It was like 50 women, 50 or 55, one side, and then, you know, left the other side, you know, blank, and basically any dark spots or any type of like cell damage they had on one side from like UV radiation was completely like evened out, and then the other side just like stayed the same. So we would know 100% that it does work. There will be a significant difference. When you're talking about glucosamine, I like a lot of like my research, especially when I went on Amazon just to see how easy this is to get. You need to make sure to say N-acetylglucosamine, because the other isn't as stable. And when we're talking about the topicals, most of the clinical studies and stuff like that that were done was using the NAC, or the NAC, the NAG. So just make sure that you're not just like buying just like glucosamine, and like I said, for like 100 grams for like, I say $15, but it was really like 14 something. I thought that was pretty good. So tyrosinase is like basically like the key process of melanin overproduction, especially when you go out of the sun. So this stops it like from the very start. Most of the studies are basically going to highlight hyperpigmentation, but they also have a lot of stuff that just shows that it evens out skin tone, and it even helps with barrier function, allowing you to absorb whatever else you put on the skin. So if you're using N-acetyl-glucosamine, it will resurface your skin just like an AHA or a BHA, and it will not only you know, stop any of the melanin production, but it'll also help you to absorb whatever, I mean, I guess you would use multiple topicals, but if you're using another topical, it'll help you to absorb it better. It reminded me a lot of what happened after doing my chemical peel, where it just said that your skin's gonna be very sensitive, but it's really great because it'll allow you to absorb any of your other skin lightening topicals that you might put on it. Obviously, this window after doing a skin peel, it's a brief window, because then the skin gets out of that shedding phase, and then you're just, you know, the skin gets tougher and it doesn't let as many nutrients in until the dead skin basically sheds, and you know, you start the process over. But there's like a window, so when using this, it allows your skin to stay in that window and to better absorb. When I think of retinoids do the exact same thing. It keeps the skin cell turnover just like going constantly, so you always have new skin cells being made, and you're able to get that baby new skin and absorb whatever product you're using. So they did a lot of other studies using, like, some people had like a placebo, which a placebo is just when they have whatever like serum or whatever product they're testing out on you. Some people will get like a fake one that does absolutely nothing, and then other people will get the real experiment. And so for this experiment, it's like the N-acetyl-glucosamine, and then they had a placebo, and then they had also a mixture of the glucosamine as well as the NAC, the niacinamide. And as you could, you know, guess, the people who had the placebo, nothing happened. The people who used the N-acetyl-glucosamine, they had lightening. And then the people who had the N-acetyl-glucosamine and the niacinamide, basically, you know, they had the most improvement. I also found some stuff about the N-acetyl-glucosamine, almost said NAC, but the NAG and acne. There was like a study of some people used the NAG, then others used benzoyl peroxide, and basically it just works way better than the benzoyl peroxide. So that's why I was like so excited. So obviously, if you have acne, if you have it on your chest or your back, this will be really helpful if you're making a topical, but also you could use it on your face as well. I know some people are into lightening their face, and others their face is lighter than their body. So wherever you fall in, it does have multiple purposes. And so that's what basically sold me on it. I was like, okay, I'm ready for this. Though some of you have mentioned NAC and how it's really helping you in your journey too. So I was already kind of interested in it, and this just made me even more interested. And so I can see me adding in the NAG, but I really have to figure out how I'm going to do this. I don't even know if, like, I just took like distilled water, warmed it up, and basically put a few tablespoons of the NAG in that, dissolve it, and then do like a spray over my body. That might be the easiest thing, but I'll figure it out. Obviously, I didn't want to like heat it too much. Like if I take like an oil and try to make my own serum, I don't want to heat it too much to where like it makes it inactive. But this is just something that I have to do some more research on.